So today we'll be learning about Salesforce objects. So in Salesforce, objects are database tables that store a specific type of data. They are the foundation of Salesforce data model and represent different types of information such as account, contacts, opportunities, leads, and custom objects. Also, we can create in Salesforce. The ones which comes preloaded are basically standard objects. So each of these objects contains fields which are like columns in a database table, and records which are individual instances of rows of data stored within the object. So here we can see there are several standard objects. We see account, activity, asset, authorization form, campaign, candidate, case, and much more. So in Salesforce, the standard objects comes pre-built, and also like we have the option to create custom object in Salesforce. So let's get started with a basic standard object in Salesforce. So here we have the account standard object where we can see fields and relationship under account object, where we can see different fields which are created and they are of different data type, basically pick list, auto number, name, formula, currency, address, lookup. So these different kind of data types we can actually create fields inside objects. So we can also create custom page layout in Salesforce. By default, for standard objects, page layouts comes created by default. Here we can see account layout, account support layout, account sales layout. These are all by default, which comes up in a standard object as a page layout. And here we can see we have created one custom account layout. We will see like how we can create custom layouts and so and so. So by default, whenever we see any kind of standard objects, we see fields and relationship, we see page layout, we see lightning record pages, and lot of other tabs. Okay, so let's create a custom object. To create a custom object, we go to this option over here, create. Here we click on custom object. So once we click on create custom object, we get this screen where we can name the label of our new custom object, and let's say we name this object as data, something like that, and plural label we can name by ourselves as collection of datas, as datas with an S. And by default, the object names gets pre-populated with the label name. So whenever we create a label, the object name gets pre-populated. And under description, we can give it a simple information about describing what actually this custom object does. So we can write this is a custom object for a data collection or something like that. So this is a small description we can give whenever we want to create a custom object in Salesforce. And by default, Salesforce will auto suggest the record name. So here the record name is data name, and data type is text. So whatever data we'll be creating, it's a text. The data type will be like text. So whatever we create in the object, the data type is text. So here we have optional features. If we want to create any reports, if we want to allow activities, we can actually check from here. And if we want this object to allow search, then we can click over here. So we will be going through these individual options later. So here we can also see some more fields like add notes and attachment related list to default page layout. These are again like something which we'll be discussing in the next modules. So here we want to also create a tab in Salesforce for this custom object. So to do that, we have to select this option, launch new custom tab wizard after saving this custom object. Here we have two options after creating a custom object, that is save and new. So if we click on save, then this custom object gets saved, and if we click on save and new, then after saving this new custom object, we have an option to create one more custom object. So that's the difference between save and new. So once we click on save, so our new custom object get created, and now we have the option to select or create a tab for this particular custom object. So for that, we can select a tab style. Let's select Apple as tab style, and once we are done, let's click on next. Okay, so the next, here we have bunch of profile options, like if we want this tab visibility to different profiles. So we'll be explaining about profiles in next session. So let us click next, and let us include this tab for all of the application, whatever application we have in our Salesforce, like sales app, marketing app, or any other application we want to add. So let's keep by default as it is. Let's save this. So we are done with creating our first custom object in Salesforce. So whatever details we have provided is being displayed over here. So next thing is, like, we have API name. API name is something each object has by default, and it starts with the name of the object, and it's end with __C. So once we create a custom object, by default Salesforce creates some standard fields. The fields are basically created by data name. So data name is nothing but whatever the record name we have created, whatever the record name we have entered, by default a field gets created with the name data name, that is object name. We can also change this label name, and we can see some more fields, that is last modified by and owner. So these are like standard fields which are available for this custom object. And now we can see like some more options, like new, deleted fields, field dependencies, at history track. So here we can create new fields under this custom object. So to do that, we are just click over here, new, under new option. Next we can select what kind of data type we want to create under this object. So let's say if we want to create any kind of text data type, we have to select text, or if we want to create any kind of big list data type, we have to select over here. So once we select text data type, and we can click next. So here we can actually give the field label as, let's say we give something as information, something like that, and length we can specify it as 18, up to 18 characters. We can enter data over here, and description we can get as, we can provide some description over here, like what this information field does, and help text, we can provide some help text over here. So it's basically, if we hover over this field, then we get some information on top of that field. So this is a way actually how we create custom fields in object. And if we have a couple of more options like required, so required is nothing but, so whenever we create any data under this custom object, then we have, if we don't enter any values, then we'll not be allowed to save this record. So if we select this, then it becomes something like mandatory option. And next is unique. It's like we will not be able to enter any duplicate values over here if we select this option. It's like it will only accept unique values in the system. And we have a couple of other options like external ID and auto add to custom report type. If we select this, then we have the option to add this to custom report type by default. So let's keep this as it is because it's a simple data type that is text. So let's click next after this. So we have the option to make this field available for different profile which is there in the system. So by default we have enabled, that is Salesforce is enabled for this many profiles. So let's keep it as it is. And next we are on the next screen we see we can add this custom field to page layout. So by default it gets auto selected. So after this let's click next, that is the last option is save. So here is the new field which we have created with the field name as information, and API names get automatically suggested that information underscore C. So here with the length as 18. So this is it, like how we can create custom fields in any kind of object in Salesforce.